been a while since I did an actual video, and that is because I moved. I went to college, and now I'm a city slicker. The worst thing about going to a liberal arts school is that everyone thinks I'm a conservative. Doesn't matter what I tell them, I'm just trying to live life with my fucking trailer trash poster, and they won't stop accusing me of being a conservative. So today I'm gonna prove them wrong by being homophobic. This reel, recorded late 1960s, I believe. It was the only recording of this audio, and we did not have a record player, so I could not listen to it until I decided to take matters into my own hands, steal the reel, and get it converted into an audio file. And last night I listened to it for the first time. I can't explain. I'm gonna have to play a clip of it for y'all, because
you and I, lying here all alone.
We're so in love, and everybody knows.
Everybody. Fairies all agree that homo life's the sweetest kind.
that's my grandpa. It's a parody of chestnuts roasting by an open fire, making fun of gay people. No, it gets worse. Maybe what some people would call offensive, and they would be correct. But I really like... Now, if you've seen my other stuff, you already know I have a problem with offensive humor. I just can't get enough of it. It's no good. But this song, man, it's so goddamn funny to me, and I love it. I love my grandpa, and Gramps is all for the gays, okay? So I feel the only reasonable next step is for me to create an animated music video to share with the fam and to share with the libs to spread some Christmas cheer. And, you know, that's just how it's gonna be. Hello, I'm in a different place. It is very late at night and I've been on a plane all day, but I want to be done filming this damn thing and I need to clarify some things. So I think I said the music was making fun of gay people. I talked to my grandpa. He said it is pro-gay. Okay, he said no, it's not homophobic. It is for the gays. He said he made it because everyone was coming out as gay in New York in the 60s, so he made it to commemorate that. That's very important that you know. And then I asked him, "Go, Grandpa, why do you keep singing about having sex with children in that song if it's for the gays?" And he said, "I didn't sing about that. The other guy sang about that. There's two men singing in that song. He's just one of them. So, yeah, blame the other guy, not him." So don't call my grandpa homophobic. It was his friend, okay? Also, I did not know this before, but my grandma did help write the song, so credit to her feminism. So it's been a week. I've made a storyboard here. This is my first time ever using Toon Boom Storyboard Pro, which was interesting. Honestly, like, it's not really different from other programs. The main feature that I used was, like, the camera. Like, in some shots, like, you can see, like, yeah, if I play it, you see there's like a zoom in, like that sort of thing. And I did really like that feature because in older songs there's like a lot of intervals where there's like just like music playing like in between lyrics, and I wasn't sure what to do with a lot of those, but I filled a lot of them with sort of like establishing shots, and I feel like the camera made those a lot less boring. And also it'll be a lot easier doing animation because I don't have to animate anything. I can just draw a background and then zoom in on it, and that takes up space. So that was pretty nice, but otherwise I feel like this, it wasn't too different from like other programs I used. A lot of these boards I'm not really sure how like clear they are, like with like actual storyboards. Like it's kind of the goal that like you're trying to make them like as clear as possible of what's going on to the animator. But since these aren't like something that I'm submitting for a class, like I don't know, some of them are, it's kind of hard to tell what's going on, but that's just kind of how, this is really like how I shorthand a lot of stuff, like for thumbnails. I've also started on some of the backgrounds for this. Here's a fun background. You can see I've got a lot of hidden little game motifs. So tomorrow I'm leaving the dorms for Thanksgiving break to go be with my family, and I'm not going to have access to my computer, but that's kind of fine because I'm doing backgrounds on my iPad anyway. Tomorrow is also, though, when Procreate Dreams comes out, which I'm very excited for. And I haven't actually decided what animation program I want to use yet, because it's either going to be Toon Boom Harmony or Procreate Dreams, because I have to, try it out first before I decide if I'm going to be able to use it. But even though it hasn't come out, I feel like Procreate Dreams is going to be a better choice, just because, like, just in general, drawing on Procreate is so much easier for me in terms of, like, the iPad just being, like, easier to take out and draw with instead of setting up a drawing tablet, and just, like, the brushes and the Apple Pencil. I just prefer it a lot more. But I guess I can only make that decision once it actually comes out. The other thing that might affect it is compositing, adding like special effects, camera movement, lighting, and stuff afterwards. I know how to use After Effects. Harmony and Adobe both export to After Effects no problem. Procreate looks like it's trying to have kind of like a lot of the compositing After Effects stuff built into the app. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to use that, or if I'm going to export to After Effects if I end up using Procreate, or how that's going to work, so we'll have to see. I also kind of doubt that I'm going to have time to do compositing, let alone, like, clean animation before Christmas, like, get all that done, but, a gal can dream. So as you can see, I ended up picking Procreate Dreams, and I actually didn't like it all that much. As you probably heard, they don't have a lasso tool, and there's this really annoying feature where if you undo too many times, it ends up undoing, like, a big chunk. And sometimes I would do that, get surprised, and then draw something, which makes the undos permanent, so you can't redo them. So there were a few times where I would just, like, undo a big chunk of my work, and then I'd have to redo all that. There's also a lot of weirdness with, like, moving layers and tracks. I don't know. I don't know what was up with that. I imagine that a lot of this stuff will be fixed in the future, but for now, I probably wouldn't recommend this for any big projects. One good thing about Procreate Dreams is that the compositing stuff is really good. Like, you can do all sorts of lighting, camera movements, and the compositing ended up barely even taking any time on this project, which was nice. You can see in this scene, I'm animating our two protagonists walking through the park together. I had to do a lot of walk cycles this month, but surprisingly this one isn't very well done. If you know, like, the general mapping of how feet are supposed to go in walk cycles, it's not quite right, but that's okay. My walk cycle method is to draw out the keyframes, always starting with the feet. Make sure to make the characters bob up and down, and then since this was a slow walk, I space them out every other frame, and just drew the in-betweens. Okay, I'm like a week into animation, and I have maybe like a quarter of it done with the line art. I didn't color it, most of it, but I have so much shit to do with, like, school, like, animations, homework, studies, all that stuff, and, like, I just have no time. I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but it's probably a bad idea to do, like, right at the end of the semester, but, yeah, I don't know, I'm just gonna keep on going, and I don't want any goddamn comments being like, you need to stop giving yourself such crazy deadlines, you're working, pushing yourself too hard. I'm gonna do it anyway, okay? And if you're watching this video, then I already did it, so you can't stop me. So I got my file here. I got a few scenes were in the works. They're very, very good. But, the math is I have to do around, like, 3 scenes a week, which is definitely a lot. My animation class homework is like a third of that. But yeah, it's coming along, you know, we got lots of stuff happening. Alright, so this scene, the main focus was the dialogue. I was having the characters say the lyrics of the song,
and this meant I could save a lot of time by making the lip sync the main animation of a lot of places. I have them change positions periodically to punctuate whatever dialogue they're saying. This helps it make them seem like they're actually saying what they're saying, and it puts more emphasis on the lyrics. I started by keyframing each like different pose that they would go into. Then I animated the transition in between each of those poses. Sometimes I'd trace over the main key poses a few times to give a bit of trace back that gives it kind of like a nice wobbly, more animated, hand-drawn feel. And last I would just go on top of all of that with everything animated, and I would do their mouths and sometimes their jaws to help it look more realistic on top of all that, lip syncing it to the audio.
Okay, it's like November 12th right now. I have like less than 2 weeks before I leave for Christmas break, and I gotta show to the boys at college, the libs, and look at this thing I just created, this what? I've animated like 6 different walk cycles this month, and somehow that is like what I create. I don't even know. So obviously I'm not gonna have the whole thing done before I leave for break, but I do hope to get like most line art and like rough actual animation stuff done before I leave to show to people to get their opinions. So yeah, that's less than 2 weeks to do like this whole chunk here, which is a lot, but I mean,
Perhaps I've bitten off more than I can chew, but I think that there's a few things I can do, like looping the animation and like image pans that will like speed it up pretty well. So yeah, hopefully we'll see what I get done.
So this scene, I didn't even originally plan this scene, but when I was making the storyboards, I came up with it on the spot to fill in an area where the instrumentals are kind of swelling and there aren't any lyrics. As you can see, I have the storyboard pulled up next to it. I did have it on the bottom layer of this animation as well, but because of the specific scene and like the camera movements, it was kind of hard to animate on top of, so I just pulled it up next to it. The technique I used for this scene was a little bit different as well. I drew out all the positions of this snowflake that's kind of floating across the screen, just on one layer, and then after I'd done that, I like animated on top of that the actual frames of the snowflake. The reason I did this was to help keep track of it, because it's kind of like a spindly little thing, and it's kind of just like, it keeps flipping around and all this stuff, so that helped me keep track of it.
Finished animating this scene. It's not colored yet, but I thought I would do kind of like a breakdown of this, since I was able to do it with a few different techniques.
What we've got may not be a whole lot,
But on the whole, it's got its kicks.
So it's a very fun scene. You can see I'm saving time in a few ways. First of all, just the first half of it is just a still image. I think I can make that look a little bit better in post-processing with like a snow thing that can be pretty easily done. And then when this guy walks in, this is a loopable walk cycle. As you can see, the loop segments are only about 9 frames long, and I've actually done something sneaky where around halfway through it loops again. Like you can see this is the same, if you look at the feet you can see that like it's the same drawings used twice, but I actually just like erased it to make one leg like go in front of the other, so I can just reuse that. And this is obviously the same drawing, but their eyes do open, and the pupils moving is actually keyframed here, so I didn't have to just like individually draw out each frame of their pupils sliding across the screen. And then I did draw out just like them turning to look at each other. So yeah, that all came together pretty fast, and it's like a decent chunk of like the animation for this whole thing. So that's kind of what I mean by like streamlining things. The animation for this, it's not really the number one priority. It's just supposed to be a funny thing. So I can get away with not having the highest quality animation in a lot of places.
So this scene is of our main guy kind of pulling in a bunch of these other men into kind of like a big hug. It was kind of complicated for me because I've never animated 4 different characters all moving together, but I tried to keep it slow. I started by drawing all of them just like before they get pulled in as a baseline, and then I had the main guy, I animated like his anticipation because he starts moving first to like bring them all in. Then the other three, I had them on a separate layer, but when they started moving together, I put them all in the same layer to keep track better. When I animated them getting pulled in, I just tried to make sure I had an anticipation in between smear and overshoot frame, then the final position, and that's usually how I frame out movements. I find that works best for me. And yeah, this animation was probably the one that I was most worried about doing, just because it was the one that felt like the most different to me, but I'm pretty happy with it. I think it turned out decent. Okay, so it's a week before I'm leaving, and originally I wasn't planning to show this, in class, because I figured it might be too raunchy for my teachers to be comfortable with me showing that. Turns out I was a fool. I underestimated the leniency of art school teachers, because today in my animation class, someone just submitted porn for their homework, and we all watched it. Not how I expected to start my morning, but, the good news is if they are allowing that, then they have no excuse to not allow my offensive thing. So, they will have to see it now. Okay, so I stopped filming for the last week because I was busy, but here I am from the future to fill you in. So I was just planning to get the line art done before I left college, and then I was hoping to color it before Christmas. But somehow I ended up finishing the whole thing before I left. I guess I had done more than I realized, and then one night I stayed up till 5 a.m. drawing with some friends. It felt great the next day. But after that I had all but 2 scenes, not just animated, but colored and composited. Next day I went into class and I made a special request of my teacher. In my animation class, we didn't have a final for the first semester, only for the second semester. So our final thing, the last thing we had to submit, was just a lip sync. And my thing, it has lip syncing. Normally we're required to use Adobe Animate, but I told my teacher that I was making a special gift for my grandpa and that I really wanted to get it finished, so I asked if I could turn that in for the lip sync instead. And he said yes, so I was in. So the next few days I grinded to just finish up those few scenes that weren't done yet, and I finished it the night before class. But before I showed it to my classmates, I decided to show it to my suite mate to get her opinion. Let's see what she said.
Changed as a person that day.
How is it, for the better or for the worse?
Jury's out. I'm not sure about that yet. I sodomize all your favorite guys. I think that's gonna be stuck in my head forever, maybe.
You approve them?
I approve. I think this is probably a masterpiece, maybe your magnum opus as a creator.
Damn, I think I might have peaked too soon with this.
I think you might have peaked at just the right time.
With my suite mate's approval, I was ready to go, so the next day I packed up my things, I headed off. Today's the day.
It's my creation, my Christmas creation.
Oh my god. Oh my god. This is a whole short. Yeah.
It's quite interesting. I'll say that.
Just a little.
This is my Christmas gift to the world.
Okay.
I'm so excited. Thank you, Adam.
Asses warming by an open fire.
Jack Frost rolling out his hose.
You and I lying here all alone.
We're so in love, and everybody knows.
Everybody. Fairies all agree that homo life's the sweetest kind.
4 boys from 6 to 96.
What we've got may not be a whole lot,
But on the whole, it's rockets.
we think it's greatest to be gay.
The only way to be a man in every way.
Who wants the mother's child to ruin our style?
Our only use for little boys is to defile.
So we're offering this simple prayer
To help you make your Christmas day.
sodomize all your favorite guys.
Even Santa.
He's gay. He's gay, alright. Gay.
Oh, lay on me.
Okay, so your grandpa wrote this song?
Member of our cast, please send a self-addressed envelope to P.O. Box 69. By return mail, you will receive your name. Thank you for listening.
How long did you spend working on the story?
Okay, this is a great tale. So I think my grandpa was like, he was friends with this guy. He is voicing the.
It's already getting weird.
My grandpa is not like that. He's a heterosexual, I swear. Okay, my grandpa plays the twink in this. Okay, that's him singing. The other guy, who's the one voicing the other guy, he worked at a recording studio, and they had people who were coming in to like film or record like a Christmas album. So he stole like the instrumentals, and he was like, "All right, let's write some new lyrics to this." So and then they got like really high on like pot. They smoked a lot of pot.
What time year are we in?
1964.
Holy wow.
That was genuinely like a short film.
It was.
You did not come to play.
You don't even have to do Christmas filming.
I'm just gonna submit
How
this.
long did this take you?
Like a month.
Wow. That was overt homophobia, even for that time period.
Wow, what a successful little screening that was. Very much fun. I'm not filming my family's reaction because I want to enjoy my Christmas and not worry about filming things. Can you tell I've been on a plane for 9 hours? Anyways, sodomize all your favorite guys, and Merry Christmas.